Welcome back. In part 2, we talked about the invasion of ghosts. And now we're going to meet a ghostbuster. Our next guest has been ghostbusting for many years and says there is ample proof that they do exist. Please welcome Robin. Robin, you're Ghostbusters UK.
Well, that was the title of my first book. Yes, that's right.
Okay. How many ghosts have you busted?
Well, actually, there's a slight misapprehension here. We don't actually go out to bust ghosts. We really research ghosts, the team and I. That was the first book. Now I'm sort of a lone operator, as it were. But as to ghosts, we must have sort of researched through a couple of hundred or so. I mean, you know, one loses count.
Does the research actually help you to exorcise them?
Yes, we've done that. But the thing we find usually is that people don't want them exercising. They're quite happy. They just want them explained, you know, occasionally want them exercising, as it were.
So they like benevolent ghosts? Presumably they don't like ones which are malevolent.
That's right. And I think you get all sorts. My basic position, Michael, is that it's a sort of a perfectly legal aspect of research. You can take a PhD in parapsychology. I'm a parapsychologist at Edinburgh University or London University or Surrey University. These, you know, it's not a ridiculous subject.
No. What's the most sinister case that you've come across, and what did you do about it?
Actually, the most sinister thing that happened to me happened before I was into the field. Before I read psychology, which was my first degree, I was in sort of business and things, and I was attacked in London by a very nasty group that I didn't understand were sort of occultists at all. I only knew that I'd collapsed in a cafe, and a man, it's a bit of a long story, the story's in the book, and came and rescued me. And in later years I discovered this was some sort of psychic attack, which I believe can actually happen. That was my worst case personally.
Okay, what did you make of Michelle's case? Because I take it you believe everything she said.
Right, this was the one, and I think there was a sexy...
Yeah.
Well, I think this is probably an accurate description of what happened. I had a very similar case in Cleveland near Blackpool.
Are ghosts sexually active? Are they prurient? Would they be sneaking up on girls in their showers?
Well, I think some do. I mean, we can all sort of live in the vague hope that we don't do the finishing that way when we slip off the hook. But the thing is that I have known a lot of people to complain about sexy spooks. And in fact, in Ghostbusters UK, we talk about a ghost that haunted a shoe shop. And it had a fetish for feet. Now, that's all you need. And this was in Grimsby, where there's a lot of fishermen, and he used to come in with a friend, which I was told could have been a fisherman's friend, but whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But he was very sexy. And a student that was upstairs in the flat was actually having a horizontal conversation with his girlfriend one night when they were interfered with by the spirit, and they didn't approve of this at all. It did seem to be an objective entity. The manageress of the shop...
Did you get rid of it? Because I'm sure the shoe shop didn't want it, did they?
Well, actually, they didn't mind. The manageress was fascinated. She saw this old man in Rupert Bear trousers walk through a wall, and I went there actually with a television company then, and we made a film of the shoe shop. Unfortunately, the ghost didn't put in an appearance for us.
Okay, so Rupert Bear was not to be seen when he was needed.
That's right.
Anyway, so we've had vampires, we've had ghosts, now it's time for witches. Our next guest is the High Priest of White Witches and boasts over 500 witches in his coven. Let's meet Kevin. Well, Kevin, you've got a skull, you've got a broomstick, you've got your robes, and you've got your pentangle around your neck. Is that right?
Yeah.
What else have you got to show us? These are the accoutrements.
Basically, we use crystals for healing. I brought the broomstick along as transport. That's to beat the traffic. And this is actually a vicar that I threw to the lions earlier. But in reality, we do have a very serious side to our belief system. And with crystals, we believe we can help people through the power of positive thought.
Yeah.
No devils, no demons, all good stuff.
So you're a white witch.
A white witch.
A white witch. In fact, you've got a very attractive bathrobe on. Now, it was the white one in the laundry at the
It's
moment.
actually a pair of curtains, actually.
Oh, it's a pair of curtains.
Yes, yes.
That doesn't matter, but, I mean, do you wear white robes?
No, I will always wear a red one. They're purely symbolic to attune the mind. It's like wearing trainers sometimes. You know, you get sporty. This makes you feel spiritual.
Briefly, the difference between black magic and white magic.
Basically, to put it in a layman's terms, we believe in a force of nature, like the Star Wars terms, if you like, and you can tap into it for good or for evil, and we definitely believe in only doing good for people.
And you try to do good. What do you do?
We do healing for people. Recently, we've had an awful lot of stuff going on down at St Abbas in Dorset, helping people with fertility spells and that sort of stuff.
Fertility spells?
Fertility
You mean
spells.
you're saying that if a couple can't have a baby, they come and see you?
They do, or we go and see them.
And what do you do for them?
Well, basically, we perform what you would call a spell. And we believe that through the power of positive thought, anything can happen. And it has been justified and verified.
So how many cases have you done where childless, infertile couples...
22.
How many?
22.
22?
Yep. There is a big piece in a leading magazine at the moment about the items that we've been involved in, and that's not us saying so, it's the actual couples who have said, yes, we've tried everything else, didn't want to try
So
IVF.
they come to you as the last resort, but it's been successful 22 times?
Yeah, some do, but some people actually want, they don't want to adopt, they don't want to try IVF, they'd like the natural way, if you like.
Okay.
Did you fly on your broomstick today?
No, I didn't know we'd come in an old tatty old Volvo, believe it or not.
Just out of curiosity, what are you wearing underneath?
Oh, a nice... very, very brave man who doesn't mind to showing all his secrets to us.
We never dance naked.
You never dance naked?
No.
I have a question for George. You're a Christian minister in the Church of England.
Correct.
I didn't believe that they actually believed in the devil as such.
Well, Christians believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, but we know that Jesus Christ taught that there is a devil.
And you also said that people don't follow the one true God are opening themselves up to the devil.
Yes.
Where does that leave Jews, Muslims and followers of other religions?
Well, what I'm saying is that the Bible teaches quite clearly, Jesus Christ taught quite clearly, there is one way to heaven. And everybody, doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what
Anybody
religious
not Christian is damned,
background, doesn't matter whether they're a white Anglo-Saxon, doesn't matter whether they're a Muslim or a Hindu, every single one of us must believe on the Lord Jesus Christ.
Could I just ask you, you're dressed very strikingly. What is your interest in this subject?
I'm a member of the London Vampire Group and I'm in it for parties.
Parties?
That's it, yeah.
What form are these parties? Are these wild, swinging parties? I mean, what do you get up to?
They can be. Well, we dance, we sing. You know, we
Fully
make merry.
clothed? Fully clothed?
Mostly.
Do you take blood from each other?
No, the only time that I ingest blood is when I have black pudding with my chips.
So, vampire lovers do that. Yes, please.
I'd like to make a point on the whole of
Kevin.
Kevin, it wasn't the so-called witches that burnt millions of people, calling them witches. And it wasn't the witches that burnt people saying they were servitors of the devil. It was not even a Christian invention. It was originally an Arabic invention called Shaitan, who became Satan and became the devil. So this was a horrible thing invented to frighten people, basically. And if that's what our friend over here believes in, well, he's welcome to it.
No, I don't believe in a mere invention, which is what you're implying.
No, I believe you
I believe in
in the
what God
devil.
has made known and
Let's have
revealed to
one.
us.
Let's have one quick question.
Right, okay, I mean, it's fair enough, you're all doing your own thing, but my only concern is you said earlier on, Pandora, that you'd actually had, like, blood sucked before, and it's just, like, with a question of, like, HIV around.
AIDS, health
Yeah.
risks. Are there any health risks in all this, Pandora? Nick?
I'm not being medically minded, I'm sorry, I'm not really qualified.
Well, the exchange of
to-
blood or taking of blood obviously carries with it the possibility of transmitting diseases like HIV.
I'm not entirely sure what happens to blood when it hits the open air and whether or not any diseases do actually survive. And I'm pleased to say that anything I partook in the past was on such a minimal level there couldn't possibly have been any danger.
Absolutely. Okay, Michelle, one final point to you. After your nasty experience with ghosts, how is life and how is the family and how are the children?
Haven't got any children.
Oh.
But
Everything is nice and ghost-free.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I've got one child.
I thought you said you did. I thought I was awake.
No, it's a spirit ghost. It's an actual child spirit who still lives in the house.
Oh, it was a child spirit.
Go. He will not go, but we are happy with him. He is very.
So you're happy to accept him?
Yeah, he's very.
Even though you haven't got a child yourself,
yeah.
You've got a child in spirit.
Yeah, it doesn't mean any harm.
So the exorcism didn't work?
It did. It got rid of
Wait a minute.
No, it didn't work.
What's your name?
George.
George.
Well, there you are.
The child is on what you call a run. And it goes through every
The exorcism didn't work.
Christians do.
The
Right.
exorcism didn't work.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, it did.
Clearly, life after dark takes many shapes and forms. I hope you all sleep peacefully in your beds tonight. Join us again, but for now, goodbye.
Your chance to catch up on all the latest events on the Close Next in Brookside, the early years.
Does the research actually help you to exorcise them?
Yes, we've done that. But the thing we find usually is that people don't want them exercising. They're quite happy. They just want them explained, you know, occasionally want them exercising, as it were.
So they like benevolent ghosts? Presumably they don't like ones which are malevolent.
That's right. And I think you get all sorts. That's right.
OK. How many ghosts have you busted?
Well, actually, there's a slight misapprehension here. We don't actually go out to bust ghosts. We really research ghosts, the team and I. That was the first book. Now I'm sort of a lone operator, as it were. But as to ghosts, we must have sort of researched through a couple of hundred or so. I mean, you know, one loses count.
Welcome back. In part 2, we talked about the invasion of ghosts. And now we're going to meet a ghostbuster. Our next guest has been ghostbusting for many years and says there is ample proof that they do exist. Please welcome Robin. Robin, you're Ghostbusters UK.
Well, that was the title of my first book. Yes, position, Michael, is that it's a sort of a perfectly legal aspect of research. You can take a PhD in parapsychology. I'm a parapsychologist at Edinburgh University or London University or Surrey University. These, you know, it's not a ridiculous subject.
No. What's the most sinister case that you've come across, and what did you do about it?